What's up? What's up, YouTubers? What's up with it? You know what I'm saying? I'm not even saying my shit. And I'm already saying, what's up? What's up? What's good? What it is? What it do? What it will be? Okay? Yeah, man, we finna talk about some power, man. I'm just talking about power. Let's talk about some power. Let's talk about some power. You know what I'm saying? Raising Kanan, Season 5, Episode 6. Before I go right here and get into the rest, I'm going to just say it right quick. Yes. What's up, Roski? My homeboy. Yes, I'm glad you're here, bro. I'm glad you're here. Give me 1 second, man. I'm finna get, you know what I'm saying, a little situated right quick. Don't worry. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you're here, bro. Man, it's good, bro. You know what I'm saying? I got off of work about a couple hours ago, you know, and I said, okay, all right, so Raising Cane's coming out a little bit tonight. It will be premiering episode 7 here shortly by midnight. So I figured, you know, why not go live? You know what I'm saying? Get around to the peoples, get around to you, of course. And we can talk about our theories, our predictions, power characters, who gonna survive, who gonna die, all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We here. You know what I'm saying? And like I always say, it ain't no time like the present. But I'm going to go right here and do my shit. I'm doing kind of like unusual. But here we go. You know, I just did a lot of talking and a lot of chatter from my chatter box. Pause. Anyways, here we go. Hello, people, and welcome to another edition of yours truly, Josiah Willis, here today with another Power Review. Episode 6, Dark Matter Review. Television. You know what I'm saying? You gonna need some WWE. Oh, man, I got you, bro. Trust me. We gonna cook. We gonna cook, bro. In 2026, I guarantee we will cook. Trust and believe that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I'm ready, bro. But before I go right ahead and get into everything else, you can still chime in on what you want to say. I'm going to hit my sticks and just announce the usual from what was already done unusually. I digress. Like, comment, subscribe, and views. Put your minds out here. The link. Oh, actually, there's no link. You know what I'm saying? We just vibing. We just talking. We just chatting. And if you feel free, like I said, send your boy a super thanks, you know what I'm saying, a super chat. I will read it out loud in the comments below. You know what I'm saying? We gonna shout you out, brother. We gonna shout you out. Adventica4656, where are you from, fanboy? So are you comparing me to Fanboy and Chum Chum? It's an old TV show. I haven't watched it in a good old minute, but hey, it's cool. One Short says, have you seen a bad guy? A bad guy? I think in real life you see people with gray areas. Some people do good, some people do bad. They do in between. Have I really seen a bad guy? I would say I've seen guys just do bad things. That's an interesting question, though. Yeah, man. His Kanan eyes still swole. I would say so. I think by the time you get towards Raising Kanan episode 7, that man's face is already messed up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Uncle Marv done did him bad, man. You know what I'm saying? Done did him horrible. He went savage on Kanan, bro. I wonder. I think I'm African. I think part of me may be a little bit of Indian. I don't know for sure how much of Indian ancestry I may possess or have or got in my DNA. But I have been curious about what exactly is in my DNA besides being quote unquote African American. I don't know. So that's a good question though. I would like to think there is some Indian ancestry. My grandmother told me that her grandmother, her mom's mother, her hair was real long. Now I'm not saying that's to imply that Indian, people have just long hair and they can have it. I don't know. I don't know. I would have to say, if I took a wild guess, I would have to go maybe Native American, maybe Cherokee, maybe Indian. I am very much curious about that. But great question, by the way, Evanica. Great question. Great question. Because it's only 8 episodes, the big unalive in this episode is Marvin. Yeah. Yeah. What was her case? Her cast? Her case? What do you mean? Trying to think. Yeah, it's only 8 Clash. Yup, it's only 8 Clash Master. Or Maxer, sorry. Maxer. Clash Maxer. Yeah, it's only 8 episodes. And I have a theory as to why that is. And I'm going to ask that question for Jeff and Chrissy. By the way, go shout out to Power After Hours, man. They've been killing it. Shout out to Jeff J. Shout out to Chrissy B. Davis, man. They're killing it on their platform. Go support them for their commentary over Power After Hours. Go support my guy, MovieBot. Go support Rudy P. Magic. And go support Mark Dark. Mark Dark probably maybe one of the very best content creators for when it comes to Power content. So check them out. And I'm just following, in my own lane. You know what I'm saying? Following suit, but in my own lane. You know what I'm saying? There are 4 cases in Hinduism, from uppercase to lowercase. In my 4 case, I don't think so. No, I'm gonna be honest with that. I don't believe I am. No, I don't know, but no, I don't believe that. But thank you for letting me know that information, Evanica. Thoroughly appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. You asked me some really good questions. I'm not gonna go hold you on a real tip. You know, when it comes to an 8 episode and when it comes to it being so slow, that's actually a good thing. That's actually a positive, because if you want shoot 'em up, bang bang, certain level shows, you can have that in certain crime genres. But I like the fact that we take our time with Power. Raising Kanan is arguably, excuse me, is arguably, perhaps not now. Some people can still debate this and whatnot, and everyone has their cup of tea. But it's arguably the best spinoff coming out of Power, if not the better if not the better Power show altogether. I think the cast have done a great job exceeding expectations for what we gotten from these characters, and I think it's giving you a level of appreciation for Kanan and Jukebox, whom when we see them in OG Power, you probably already were fans of the characters, but I think with Raising Kanan, you get more of an insight and more of a complexity, for all of them. Book 2 for you. Okay, I ain't mad at that. Tariq killed that show. Shout out to Braden. Shout out to Kane, the Tejadas. I love them all. Don't get it twisted. But me personally, because I love 90s vibe, I love the gritty, kind of like more realistic side of Power, I think I'm leaning towards Raising Kanan for me, in my opinion. And I feel like in Ghost, as far as the last season of Ghost, I felt like they kind of like didn't re-answer questions to storylines that were right there in front of our faces. I feel like the last season of Ghost wasn't, not that it was weak, it's just that there were some unanswered questions, and we didn't get some things about Effie that I felt like they were like, oh, we should have got some more about Effie, bro. GTG, Goofy. Yeah, I will never forget when, what was his name? Oh, the one who was messing with Monet before Monet got with Lorenzo Tejada. I'm trying to think. What was his name? Mecca. Thank you. I was trying to lose my mind. Not literally, but to a degree. Anyways, yes, Mecca. Hey, not gonna lie, hot take. Effie backdoor should have never been back in Tariq's life. Facts. She, the first time she betrayed him, that should have told Tariq right then and there, bro. Don't go back with her. But I think what it was for Tariq was she was a fine chick. And let's not get it twisted. Tariq know how to pick him. You know what I'm saying? Tariq know how to pick him. You know what I'm saying? You know how to pick him nice. You know what I feel me? So I think with when Mecca took the DTG's hand what was his name? I forget, but he's part of GTG and whatnot. But he broke his hand. I was crying laughing. But he told Kanan a really good, valuable lesson. You know what I'm saying? I think after, it took Mecca having to pass away, I think, too, for Kanan to be a lot more smarter as far as how he moved strategically within himself being a Tejada. So, yeah, man, it was interesting. Very interesting. But Raising Kanan, to me, I think when people, everyone's different. I get that. But when you're slowing down the storylines and you're trying to maximize what you're going to do, it's going to pay off later in the later episodes rather than just giving you everything all at once. You got to take your time with characters. So when you're doing storylines and you're taking your time with these storylines, you have to be meticulous. And that's why Raising Kanan to me is great, because they're not rushing. Kill this person, kill that person, kill this person, kill that person. No, there's a reason behind everything. There's going to be some substance. And I think that's why Sasha Pen's pen is so underrated, bro. Yeah, man. So hot take? Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I tell you, okay, for instance, I'll give you, this is probably not going to fall in line with the comparison, but I'll use this as an analogy right quick. When we first seen The Godfather, right, for instance, right, Michael Corleone wasn't an automatic gangster. He wasn't even affiliated with the family like that. He was a part of the family. Yes, he was the youngest son of Vito Corleone, right? But Michael never wanted to really be in the family business. It's only when Vito got almost Dana killed that he reconsidered. But he didn't fully reconsider. He just felt the need to go, okay, I have to protect my family. My dad got shot. How's he doing? Blah, blah, blah. What's going on? And he kind of like gets that sense of wanting to help him out, but he didn't really go about helping him out until that cop punched him in his face. And then that's what set everything off. That, plus him losing his wife in Italy, or was it Sicily, turned him absolutely cold-hearted, and he became a crime boss leader. You know what I'm saying? He became a Don. But prior to all that happening, you gotta remember, Michael did not want to become a part of family business. He didn't want nothing to do with that. But gradually and gradually, they took their time with him before he eventually said, okay, I'm a part of the business. Mind you, he never wanted to be in it in the first place. So, but my point is, when you're utilizing things like that, it pays off in the long run. That's why with Jukebox, for instance, Jukebox doesn't automatically become the cold-hearted, ruthless version that we see of her in OG Power quite yet. I mean, in Raising Kanan quite yet, because they had to take their time with understanding why we got the way she was in OG Power. So you get the first season where she loses her girlfriend. Second season where she discovers her mom, but then her mom betrays her bond by having those church people abuse her. Like, that's traumatic. You know what I'm saying? The third season where she's trying to get involved in the girl group, and then that goes left. And in the fourth season, she makes it to the army, exceeds there, but she's not fully accepted for who she is. All of that is what led to what we got in the fourth season, where she pulls the gun out on all those boys on that court with Kanan, and she's trigger happy. She's looking to take somebody else's life after taking somebody else's life, because she knows how it gives her power, it gives her control. Without the first season, second season, third season, and then come into the fourth season, you don't get the Jukebox that you get, being the way she is right now. Got you. Yeah, I get that. What I'm saying is, and that's more, see, what you're describing is more based on a realistic experience, right? we're talking about a TV show that has everything to do with character development. Kanan, from the beginning, we get glimpses of the OG Kanan and OG power, but it took him time before we can fully get that version of Kanan. And I think it's going to be explored a whole lot more better by the time we get Origins with Ghost and Tommy, because it's going to really take him to another stratosphere. But it's character development. You have to tell it slow in order for it to matter, in order for it to make sense. So it does make sense in that in the long run, the reason why it doesn't feel like it makes sense in the beginning is because you're going, well, give it to me already. But if it gives it to you already, what can you develop within the character that is already there? That's not good writing. Just to be honest with you, bro. No, for sure. No, I'm not disagreeing with Kanan's path as far as what he chose to become. What I'm saying is the version of Kanan, that version of Kanan is not the season 5 version of Kanan that we got right now. The season 5 Kanan version that we got right now is way more cold-hearted, way more just stoic and sociopathic than the version that we got from the beginning. The version that we got from the beginning, he wanted to be in the game. You gotta think. Okay, I'll put it this way. I ain't gonna say you gotta think, bro, because I don't want to downplay your mind, bro. The purpose, the initial purpose for why Kanan wanted to be in the game. Go back and watch season 1. He wanted to protect Rock. He didn't get in the game because money and blah 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 this and that third. He figured, okay, I'm DEF CON's son. My mom's in the business. I know my uncles are in the business. I should be in it too. He didn't know to the full extent as to what that entailed. He didn't know all of the good things that you experience with it versus and along with the bad things. But ultimately, the goal was to keep Rock protected. That's why when you get to season 4, towards the end, he says, I'm done protecting you because I don't need to protect you no more. You done broke our trust. That's why he felt the way about Rock. Would I ever collaborate with Nick Kerr? I do not know who that is, but let me know who he is, man. Appreciate it. Vendetta, bro, you are very beautiful, really. Appreciate it, bro. But if you're not a girl, I'm gonna just say pause on that one. But appreciate you. I think Garcia is serving as a catalyst for why Jude is going to become Crookie eventually. I don't know how the story's going to is going to unfold, but I think is going to work out. I have a feeling they're going get the show up and running and keep it going as is. But the pacing to me has been fine. I like the pacing. I like the storyline. Now, when it comes to this season, let me ask you, Roski, because you got a lot to say about your opinions over Power, which is good, rightfully so. What season do you feel for you, at the very least, was the best season for Raising Kanan? Give me 1 second, though. Ghost and Tommy should have been introduced in season 3, Breeze in season 2. Okay, so I said the one when they clicked up with Neek versus the Jersey Mob. That's season 2. That's so to answer your the second comment that you just put just now, Roski, that's season 2. To answer your question as to why they weren't put in, well, not necessarily your question, but to further comment on what you just commented just now. So Kanan is a teenager, and the purpose of raising Kanan is about Kanan's story. Because Kanan is integral, along with Breeze, for the rise of Ghost and Tommy. Thus, the show is mainly about his rise, why it's called Raising Kanan. You're going to put Ghost and Tommy in a show about Kanan already. That's why they're keeping it separate, and they're going to the sequel of Origins. That's one. Number two, Kanan is 5 years older chronologically than Ghost and Tommy. And Sasha Penn said in the interview that that's the reason why he didn't put them in this show, is because Kanan is a lot older. He don't meet Ghost and Tommy until I think Kanan is like in his 20s, and Ghost and Tommy are like young teenagers, like probably like, well, then they didn't get home. Let me dial back right quick. I think he doesn't meet them until he's like, if I had to take a wild guess, maybe 18, 19, 20. And they're supposed to be young, like teenagers in the story. No, I'm not disagreeing with you. So, okay, so of course you guys tell their story too. What I'm getting at is that's why the show Raising Kanan has been solely focused on Kanan. With Kanan, bro, I would love to have you on this live, bro. Like yo, next time join me on the live, and send me your number, bro. Send me your phone number. I know it sounds weird for me to ask that on the live, but send me your phone number on the live, so that way I can get your contact and put you onto this channel, and I can send you the link for this live again. We can talk like one-on-one and whatnot. But the reason why that is because the reason why it hasn't been about Ghost and Tommy being put in this show is because they're going to be in Origins. It's going to be more about Ghost and Tommy in Origins. And before you go, well, wait a minute, why not in Raising Kanan, blah, 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 blah. They're going to have flashbacks. Hold on a minute. They're going to have flashbacks in Origins. And Origins is going to give us 18 episodes. 18 episodes for a power show. So you do that with what you will. But in 18 episodes, you would have to think, with 18 episodes, they're telling you Ghost, Tommy, they're going to show flashbacks of when they were younger while showcasing them in the present. It'll have a time jump, and Origins was going to be around in the 2000s. So that's how they're going about telling the story, bro. They making it look like Kanan trained them for 6 months, then they smoked Breeze and got Kanan arrested. Well, of course, you can tell the story no lie, but nah, they taking too long to do these these storylines. Okay. How about you post your Instagram in your YouTube bio, and I follow you and text you through there. Bet. Yeah, 18 on the first season, bro. Yeah, 18 on the first season. Okay, bet, Broski. I'll what is the name of my Instagram? Broski, do me a favor. If you got a pencil around you, or if you want to type this on the comments, you can. My Instagram is at just type in King Josiah _ 1168. I'm gonna repeat that again. King Josiah together. King Josiah together _ 1168. That's my Instagram. Yep, there you go, bro. And screenshot this if you can, and then hit me up, bro. I got you. Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you, bro. Yep. surprised CJ's not on here. CJ Harrison. That's my boy. Don't get twisted, Broski. You my boy too. You my boy too, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all my homies. But other than that, man, Broski, what do you think is going to be happening come what do you think is going to happen in episode 7? We got episode 7, which is titled Penultimate Second to Last, which is like a breaking of the fourth wall giveaway. It's telling you basically it's the second to last episode before you get to the last 8th episode of Raising Kanan. And I've also heard that the 8th episode of Raising Kanan is going to be titled Unconditional Love, which is very befitting for Kanan and Rock, which I think that's going to be interesting to see. Another thing, I have a theory. I don't know if I am absolutely correct with my theory, because Sasha Penn may be a different cat and may have his different reasons for why he did it, right? Some people have been very upset that that this last season has been given 8 episodes, and don't get it twisted. I was absolutely one of them. To a degree, I still am in a way. But the reason I believe they gave Raising Kanan this year only 8 episodes is to coincide and pay homage to the very first season of OG Power. Remember, the first season of OG Power, for those that don't know, only had 8 episodes. They gave us the first 8 episodes of the first Power show, and then you got 10 episodes chronologically throughout each season of Power. And then we got that with the other seasons of Power. So they haven't gotten us, they haven't given us 8 episodes for a season since OG Power. And that's why I think, thank you, bro, I appreciate it. Thank you, Roski. And I think that's the reason why they haven't given they haven't given us 10 episodes for the last season of Raising Kanan, because they want to pay homage to the very first season of OG Power. I think that's the reason why. I could be wrong, but I'm surprised no one in the YouTube space has really had that theory besides me. I think that's why they did it. As much as it sucks, I think it was a very deliberate choice, meaning it was purposeful. Where's my remote? Oh, yeah. Here we go. Go to my home. Just play a little music right here. Kind of some cool, calm. What the heck? These last episodes gotta have at least 15 bodies. You are insane, bro. 15 bodies? Dang, bro. You want a massacre. You basically want a massacre to happen in the last season of Raising Kanan. Good Lord. 15 bodies? Wow, bro. That's insane. But it's definitely not out the realm of possibility when it comes to a show like this. So you might be right. You may be on to something, bro. You may be on to something. Let me see. How do I get access to that music thing? I'm trying to get to that one thing. That's free. Okay. I need Stefano, Rock, Flossie, Marvin, Snaps and Pop, and a bunch of gang moppers and mob members from each side to get dropped. Dang! You don't even want none of them to survive? You don't want to see none of them survive, man? They never want the whole casting to be killed except for Kanan and Jude. That's crazy, bro. It's a crazy theory, but okay. Okay. Let's see. Where's the music, bro? I'm trying to find music. There's like this one TV thing that I discovered on this TV that I just bought, where it has like Mystery Team. I never knew Charles Gambino was in this show. Oh, it's a movie. Mystery Team. He was in this? Okay, let me check this out. Big fan of Childish Gambino or Don Glover. Yeah. Let's see. What is the name of that music thing I just found, bro? I just found it, bro. The Drama, Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. Has that been out yet? I'm gonna try that out. Check that out. The biggest names in South Jamaica Queens after this season should be in order. Brings the main op of origin, Kanan Juke. So, in case you don't know, bro, the actress who plays Jukebox in the prequel series for Raising Kanan, Haley Kilgore, has already come out and said that she may not be or won't be in Origins, but that doesn't mean they can't bring her back at least for a season or two. So I think later on in Origins, we're going to get her coming back to the series. But for right now, she's already doing another show. I think it's Nashville 911, which is like a fire truck, firefighters television series. And she's already a part of that. So she won't be playing Jukebox for a while, bro. This will be the last season we'll give her for this show. And hopefully she comes back within a season or two for Origins. Yeah, boy. Okay, I think I'm gonna go. Let's go search this. Let's go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. She hates Kanan for smoking her. Hear me out. She hates Kanan for smoking her pops, but won't smoke him. So she left the city. So she wow, I cannot say words. So she talk right. Josiah, you can talk clearly. Okay. She hates Kanan for smoking her pops, but won't smoke him. So she left the city. She left the city. Sorry for commenting. That just threw me off a little bit. She left the city to become a cop in power. But it doesn't make sense for how she became a cop in power. I get that, though. But we do need to see a reason as to why she became a cop in the first place. Other than that, I like your suggestion, bro. And prediction. I have a theory, and I want to see if you agree with this theory, Broski. I have a good old theory of my own. I can picture Kanan taking out Marvin. What if, and just hear me out, this is going to sound crazy. What if Jukebox took out Brock? And that is actually is actually one of the main reasons why Kanan had to take her out in OG Power. Because remember, he told her that he killed Sean. He killed his son. And Juke didn't panic. She didn't go mad. She didn't go off on him. She didn't cuss him out. She didn't fight him. She didn't snap. She didn't do none of that. She just looked at it and said he was a pawn. Okay? And you have to sacrifice pawns for the greater good, which is a chess reference, right? She didn't have no remorse for Kanan's son. No remorse for her little cousin in that sense. So what do you think about that, Will? Right, she smoked Uncle Lulu. Yeah, sorry. He smoked Uncle Lulu, and she went off on his behind last episode on Dark Matter and called that man a punk to his face. You know what I'm saying? Confronting him about Lulu. Like, you killed Lulu. You killed our Uncle Lulu, Kanan? Yeah, I know about that. But what do you think, man? What do you think about the theory that I have where I think Juke actually takes out Rock? Can you picture that? Can you see it? Do you not see it? Let me know. Okay. Let's go on YouTube. Lulu. Lulu. It's time to turn it off. No ads. I want no ads bothering me. Give you a right, Roski. You the man, bro. You the man, bro. Fist bump. I love what you're saying. I love that you challenging me over this stuff. I appreciate that creatively. Give you a writer's room reason. It would. Well, for starters, Kanan didn't mean to kill Lulu. Let's get that out of the way, right? First of all, he didn't mean to kill Lulu. The way the writers did it is they, mind you, Rock the first one to accept her for being zesty. That's hilarious. That's a funny comment. For her being zesty is crazy. Yo, you are hilarious. But because the Thomas family is collapsing. The Thomas family is collapsing, bro. And because they're collapsing, you're hilarious. Because they're collapsing, we have to understand that when we got Kanan and OG power and Juke and OG power, they were both, and I mean this sincerely, very, very cold-hearted. They had no soul. They didn't have a heart for nobody. They just didn't. And if they did to a degree, they show it in sprinkles. But for the most part, they were absolutely cold-blooded killers. All right? Kanan took out Lulu. And instead of reacting like, Uncle Lulu, no, I'm sorry, Uncle Lulu, please forgive me. Because of his hate and anger that was fueled because of Rock, his hate got so consumed to the point where he was numb. And that's why you saw no expression on him when he killed Lulu. The reason I go with Juke taking out Rock is because I'm glad you asked that question, bro. But I think it will parallel nicely to Kanan killing Lulu. He didn't mean to kill Lulu. But what if Juke meant to kill Rock? And it could be something related to Marvin. Maybe she blames Rock for the death of Marvin in the series. And that's the catalyst for her taking out Rock. Or say they all say Marvin dies okay. Say there's a war. All of the remaining Thomas family is in this war. You got Kanan, you got Juke, you got Rock, you got Marvin. Marvin dies. Kanan and Juke and Rock towards the end survive the war, even though they've lost Marvin. Kanan comes to forgive Rock. It's his last ditch hope. She does something to protect her son, and Kanan has no other choice but to kind of like let go of all the hate and the hurt he's felt towards Rock. And just when him and Rock could somehow reconcile, Juke kills Rock. Because in her mind, it could be something related to the war that got Marvin killed that was because of Rock and her self-interest. And Juke hated that. And she took her out. You got to remember, she didn't have no problem with Kanan taking out Sean, which is weird. That's family. That's his son. That's his kid. Why any person in their right mind would not be okay with taking out their family? I'm sorry, bro. That's just you can't do that. It's messed up. While Marvin was being the crap out Kanan, Juke should have shot Marvin. That would have hit. Juke can't give Kanan to stop blaming your mom's speech. Just start blaming his mommy. Huh? She didn't blame Rock though. She told Kanan in that scene to essentially what she was telling Kanan is you got to start, taking accountability for the things that you have done. It's not a matter of you keep on blaming Rock. You keep on pointing a finger at Rock. Rock this, Rock that. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? You can't proclaim to be a man, but then you want to also be soft. You want to be a man. You want to be, the P word. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to even say it because I'm not, no. But you can't be both. You got to pick one, you know what I'm saying, over the other. And she was right. She was basically telling Kanan, take accountability for what you have done. It's not about what Rock did. You killed Lulu. You did that. And you're not even feeling a shred of remorse about it either. So, nah, you wrong for that. You violated. For real. I give her point of view, though. 1,000%. Yeah. I'm saying something could happen. I'm not saying I know what would be the reason. I'm saying something could happen in the war that Rock would have had inadvertently. She probably didn't do it on purpose, but she may have by mistake caused Marvin to die in the war. Which they're following them. Obviously, Rock and them come out on top. But Juke couldn't let it go. She lost her dad, her brother. Rock lost her brother. And she's going to feel some type of way about that. Kanan's going to come to terms with realizing, okay, I may have went about this all about the wrong way. And I'm sorry, Ma, boom, 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 this, and that, and third. And however they want to spin it, I'm suggesting here. Then you would think Juke would come to terms with realizing Rock didn't mean for it, blah, 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 and that it didn't play out. Basically, it was like an accident. But Juke isn't seeing it as an accident. Kanan saw it as an accident. He genuinely saw that she was really trying to help them. And that's when he kind of lets his guard down quite a bit. And just when him and Rock could finally come to terms with forgiving one another, Juke kills Rock, taking that opportunity away from Kanan and Rock altogether. That's why I said I would go with Juke taking out Rock. But I don't know. What's the reason? I just told you. I can't fully detail the specifics as to what will lead to it. But I'm saying you told me to give you a reason as to what would cause her to take out Rock. And I told you essentially, go ahead. The only way is if Rock shoot Marvin or if Marvin gets stabbed up by Stefano and Juke gives up Rock to save Marvin. So she would sacrifice her auntie? I don't know. But someone tells me if they're able to... What I'm trying to get at is, what if there's a parallel between the two characters? Because we got to think, throughout Raising Kanan, the two characters that have been built up throughout each season has been Kanan and Juke. They've been built up so nicely as well. So I'm saying one killed his uncle unintentionally. The other killed her auntie, but it was intentional. It wasn't unintentional. There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to go, which one was worse? And I'm going to tell you right now, Juke was worse because you meant to do that. You meant to take out your own aunt, which is not cool whatsoever. Kanan didn't mean to kill Lulu. And throughout the season, He didn't have an issue with Lulu. Him and Lulu got along probably the most before Lulu passed away. With Rock, it's more of Juke is seeing her for her true colors. Go back and watch season 4, episode 10 of the last season of Raising Kanan, and you'll see why. Her love for Rock is starting to dwindle, and that's why I think this could work. Which then would cause Kane to do his save mommy act and shoot Marvin. Rock wouldn't want to go, so she gonna force her to go. I think the true parallel was always Tariq goes Kanan. No. I'm not. I'm not saying Kanan and Juke are the same in the sense of the parallel for how their characters are going to be. I'm saying I'm talking about in terms of the Thomas family and one person breaking the family, being the first one to crack the family, while the other one breaks the family altogether. It's like at that point, boom! Now you only got the 2 last remaining family members, and that's just Kanan and Juke. But however they spin it could be different. Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. That's the main parallel for the most part for what they try and do with the main characters. I'm just saying for the family. But yeah, good thoughts nonetheless, brother. Gotta play some hip hop, man, because we need some vibes, man. That's just the cool, chill music. That's the kind of music that puts you to sleep. So I can't play that. I'm sorry. La 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 la. Do 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 do.
Is your roof leaking?
Are your headlights too bright?
Can ants...
Shut up.
They say humans are social animals. They can't live alone. But you can live pretty well by yourself.
If you compare the Thomas family, let's look at another power family, the Tejadas. Monet is Rock, head of the family. Kanan would be a mix of Marvin and Kanan, always messing up. Yes. I also see, and this is going to sound weird, but I also see parallels with Kane and Tommy's character. Because they're both hot-headed and reckless. And impulsive. I think Power has always had the hot-headed, reckless characters. And to me, if I had to give you 4 out of the recent spinoffs, I would go, give me Tommy. I think Marvin is a reckless character, so I put him over there, and I also would go with Kane Tejada, and then give me Jannard from Force. So, well, actually, I see Diane being more like a Tasha because of her and her relationship with Tariq. She seems to be more involved with the game than Effie. I mean, Effie's in the game, but to me, she ain't trustworthy. So I would go with Diana, but then Diane ain't trustworthy either. But if I had to receive a feature with Tariq having a kid and with a girl that's in the game as well, I would say Diana Tejada. For me. Drew definitely is Lulu, for sure. Officer Jannard. I'm crying. Junkie Jannard, man. Junkie Jannard. That's what they call him. Junkie Jannard, bro. Junkie Jannard. Boom, boom, ba-da-da, ba-dum. Boom, boom, ba-da-da, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I ain't peeped that. But nice game, you people over there. So she was spectator like Juke. I ain't noticed that. But I'm glad you pointed it out, bro. Yeah, I get that. Though Juke wasn't, she was crooked and corrupted, and yes, she did criminal means outside of her job. But was she really in the game like that? How can you be in a game when you won't be selling drugs or things like that to that nature? I mean, you have robberies and you planning heists and things like that, but like, is that really in the drug game? I mean, I could be wrong, but that's not me. That's not what I think it is. Yeah, Rock is definitely hot. Man, if you told me who would win in a gunfight between Rock and Monet Tejada, I'm picking Rock all day. No slouch. I'm picking Rock all day, bro. Ooh. Fun fact, before J. Cole turned this into False Prophets, this was Joey's song. Joey Badass, sorry for saying his last name, but the actor who plays Unique. This is his song first, actually. Yes, Rock is definitely similar to Ghost. Though I will say the difference between her and Ghost is that she's more inclined to be in the game than he was. Ghost didn't really want to be in the game like that. She embraces being in the game. Lil Kanan is so Dre. Oh, you call him Andre Coleman? Oh, just talking about his character earlier with somebody. Actually, reflecting on about that character with myself. That's what I did. Well, he wanted to go legit and not be a part of the game no more, because in his mind he felt, what's the point of keep on having to kill people, do the same thing over and over again when life and death is already being tested every single day on time. And when you go legit, you can free yourself from a life that doesn't always have to essentially tell you you could be up out of here every single time or every day. You know what I'm saying? For the rest of your life. That's why he was like so much like, I'm trying to get out so he could preserve himself and his family to live longer and not necessarily get involved with a life that is dangerous. But that's how he felt. Well, it was two reasons. I think the two reasons for why you don't have Ghost leave and go to overseas, you know what I'm saying, is because one, his best friend Tommy is in New York alongside with him. He got his family there, and then three, you got Angela. Well, actually, Angela's number one. She's probably the main reason why he stayed in New York. He couldn't see himself go somewhere else. Though he did tease that with Angie, I think, when he went to Florida. But, you know. He was never go legit. No, I wouldn't say that. He was trying to go legit. That's why he got with Angela, because Angela saw James St. Patrick. She didn't see Ghost. She saw what was before Ghost. So in his mind, she represents a form of innocence to him. That's why he loved her so much, because she could speak to the real him, not the drug dealer killer. You know what I'm saying? Crime boss. No, he was trying to go legit, bro. The initial purpose of Power was for Ghost to get out the game. He tried his hardest every single season, and he just couldn't, because no matter how many times he tried to, they kept pulling him back in. It's like The Godfather Part 3. But no, he really wanted to go legit, bro. No, man. I've watched Power for like a long time. Yeah, he lied to her, and then and here's another thing too. Yes, he lied to Angela, but he lied to Angela about him not being Ghost. If he wanted to still be in the game, he wouldn't have told Tommy he wanted to be out. He wouldn't have told Kanan he wanted to be out. He wouldn't have told Tasha that he wanted to be out. He let it be known he wanted to be out so many times, and did any and everything that he could to get out. That's why in the last two seasons of Power, you see Ghost transitioning from being a nightclub owner to being a guy in politics, because he literally tried to escape the life of being a drug dealer. No, when I'm saying pull back in, I'm saying his environments. Like Tommy kept pulling him back in. Everybody didn't want him to adapt and change. If put you this way, if Tasha really supported Ghost in the sense of, okay, all right, I accept you for that, blah, 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 this and that, third. I think a part of it could have avoided, okay, how can I describe this? A part of what he had did could have had led to him saying, okay, I want to cheat on Tasha. But he cheated on Tasha and got with Angie because, again, in his mind, she represented a form of normalcy for him. He wanted to escape a reality that he was already doing, that he was already a part of, to live a fantasy that he envisioned to become a reality. In other words, the fantasy was trying to get out of the game. The game is hard to get out of. We know that. But he wanted to get out desperately. I'm trying to tell you, bro. That's what they did throughout the rest of the seasons. There was no, I'm trying to still be in the game, and I was lying about not wanting to be a part of it. Then, okay, then why, if that's the case, why is he telling that to all his, why is he telling that to Tommy? Why is he telling that to Tasha? Why is he telling that to Kanan? Why is he telling these characters he don't want to be no part of it then? And then on top of that, you're also telling, that's why he was so gun-ho on Tariq not wanting to be a part of the game. He wanted Tariq to not be a part of the game at all. Kanan was like, okay. Tommy was like, okay. Tasha was like, okay. He was like, no. He literally did that. No, I'm not okay. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying about what he could have done as a rich man, and you're not wrong. But in his mind, he didn't see it that way. It's not a matter of, oh, I have enough money to go right here and afford all this, that, and third. Sure, you're dealing with a guy who's conflicted, who essentially has two personalities that's combative with one another throughout the season, and he's trying to fight off the other character or persona of Ghost to go, I want to embrace being James St. Patrick. I don't want to embrace being Ghost. Ghost has been with me for a long period of time, but all it just leads to is more people dying, or people being in jail, or people becoming junkies, or me having to witness people around, my family around me getting touched, and they could be harmed at any given point in time. Especially when you consider he had 3 kids with Tasha, bro. He could have divorced Tasha and let her move on with her life. He could have handed everything to Tommy and Rolla and flew away with Angela on Bro Grave. On Bro Grave, it's crazy. Yeah, he could have. Technically, he was still in the game. That I'm not going to disagree with. That didn't mean he ain't tried to escape it. And as far as what happened with Raina, yes, he is partially to blame for that. But at the same as that time, Tariq was being manipulated a lot by Kanan. So he went on a very down path, on a very dark path, and ended up acting out on Ghost because Ghost wasn't there to really be at his son's side. He didn't re-guide Tariq. It was all about being self-serving. That was one of the biggest issues with Ghost, is he was very self-serving to himself and loyal to his own cause. He really should have been loyal to any and everybody and helping them out and keeping it real and telling them the truth. One of Ghost's biggest issues was that he didn't tell the truth fully to Tariq, which I can understand why to a degree. But if he had just confessed just enough for Tariq, I don't think Tariq would have gone through the route of saying, "I'm gonna take you out, Dad." He wouldn't have done that. Sean Reed was his daddy's son. Yeah, facts. Notice how, but ask yourself that question. You got a good point, bro. You got a good point. Yes, I didn't even notice that. Even I noticed that, and I noticed the parallels. Ghost, Sean was more like Ghost. Tariq was more like Kanan. But notice how in different ways they've been raised differently. Sean just didn't have the fortitude to be like his dad though. He just didn't have it in him. And I often wonder why that was for Kanan to be the way he was. Why didn't Sean inherit what Kanan had? I'm trying to think at that time why couldn't Ghost do the same? Boom, boom, this, that, third. That's actually a good question. Well, okay. Actually, he had an opportunity to do that too. All he had, as a matter of fact, Ghost should have done that in season 3. Go back to the first episode where it's called Call Me James. Ghost could have easily. Oh, you know what? Now I think about it some more. You had Lobos to deal with too. You gotta remember too. He also had to deal with Lobos. You know what I'm saying? And in his mind, once I'm able to get rid of Lobos and get him out of here completely, then that's when I can go. Okay, I'm gonna go fully legit. But just when he was going to go fully legit, he didn't take into account that Milan, who was one of his bodyguards, who he thought was security, was right there with him the whole entire time and just played it safe before he told Ghost, "I'm right here. You killed Lobos, so you ain't done. You ain't getting out of this game. You thought you was," and that's why he had to break up with, and that was also one of the reasons why he had to break up with Angela. Plus, Tommy told him to hang it up because it's just like. There's no hope for that you and her to continue. But if you go back to the very first episode of season 3, yeah, you got a point, Roski. They could have easily had Ghost and Angela move and went to another country or something to live out for sure. He didn't grow up. Then 10 years with Kanan. Yeah, true. "13 through 18 years is what really raised you." Yeah, exactly. So between those years, yeah, and that's why Sean was more obedient and understood Ghost's perspective a lot more than Tariq did. Tariq didn't. Tariq rebelled because he understood Kanan's perspective a lot better. At the same time, all he really wanted from his dad was for him to tell him the truth. Stop lying about who you are. And then on top of that, you're trying to put me to go to jail for Ray Ray's murder, which, yes, Tariq did do. Let's not get twisted. Yes, he did do that. But you're telling, but all the while you're having me go ahead and do that. You can go ahead and be in politics and run to be some governor, and I'm gonna be away while you're thriving, like you've always been thriving. And then on top of that, you cheated on moms with this Spanish chick that I don't even know about, who's apparently your high school sweetheart. Are you serious? I get why Tariq has some type of way. It broke their family. Ghost was selfish in his choices and didn't really take into account how that really would affect Tariq in the long run. So, as much as I love his character, he did to himself, bro. He really did. Sean's like Zeke. Yeah, Sean is definitely a Zeke character. You're hilarious. But no, I would say Zeke is more like Sean, bro. Sean's definitely one of those characters where it's just like, man, like, you just ain't built for the game. Facts, man. 2 ball players who didn't make it. Yeah. Tragic, bro. That's tragic. It's absolutely tragic, man. Yes, but with that withstanding, though, it's still wrong on either end, regardless of who cheated on who first. It's still wrong. It's still wrong. I get why he did it, though. I get and I get whom he loved a lot more. I get why Ghost went after Angela than he did Tasha. I get why. I understand the reason why. No, it is. I'm not disagreeing. Yeah, technically she did. She definitely did it first, for sure. But the point is, Ghost, but the other thing about it, though, is Tasha kept her relationship with Sean under complete wraps. Tariq never knew about Sean and Tasha getting it going, bro. He never knew about that. That's the one thing. She kept that thing completely secret and completely hidden from Tariq, Raina, and Yasmin. So they never knew about that. They knew about Ghost messing with Angela. You know why? Because Ghost had them come over to be with Angela for a while, having some dinner, thinking it would be okay and it would be cool. It's messed up. Especially when you young too, like you don't understand why mommy and daddy ain't together no more. People who go through their parents divorcing, it can impact them. Sometimes people don't get impacted by that, but it depends on the situation. And everyone's situation is different. Turn this up. But no, back to the topic at hand. Power Book 3. All right, Roski, what's up, man? Who's getting dropped tonight? My predictions, I'm going... As much as I would love for it to be Stefano, I think they're gonna wait for him to die come season episode 8. I think when you wait for Stefano for episode 8, I think Hafiz is getting dropped off this episode. Snacks and Pop by Jukebox are getting dropped off in this episode. I think Marvin potentially might get dropped off, but I don't know for sure. And then I will have to say maybe Amber. Maybe Jukebox takes out Amber, the little white girl. I know that sounds crazy and dark, but it's possible. Um, and Aisha could be another body. Then who else? Who else do I got in mind to go? Probably Flossie. Maybe Flossie, but I don't know for sure if you do that. And then lastly, I'm gonna go with. Lastly, I'm gonna go with Detective Garcia. I think Juke can have a hand taking him out as well. Yeah, but that's the tragedy though, right? She lost her dad, she lost her sister, you know what I'm saying, who had drowned in the tub, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, she loses her life when she's trying to go for good, and she didn't do anything. She just, sometimes you're a product of your environment, man. And sometimes with being a product of your environment, things go completely out of your control. And you can make the case, and this is gonna sound crazy for me to say it, but in a way, Amber is powerless. She don't have nobody. So, being that she's powerless, what more could she serve going forward? I don't want to see her go. I don't. Honestly, I really don't want to see the little girl go. But Jew didn't have a problem with taking out kids, as we saw in Raising Kanan. She killed that one boy. The first time we see Jew is the first time we see her take out that stick-up kid that she had working on for her game plan, whatever it was. And it backfired. So she had to go crooked and take him out after he took out the the owner in the store. And you were like, what? What the heck is going on with her? Why'd she do that? And you supposed to be a cop. Like, why are you taking out random civilians? Or not civilians, but criminals. But you're dirty too. Okay, got it. You're corrupt. Okay. Garcia might survive, possibly. But you need finna say, why need Garcia when you can be a Garcia? I can see that. Oh, you know what, Roski? Half five, bro. Half five. You know what? You know what? Now it's starting to make sense. And here's the crazy part about it. Garcia wasn't as dirty as the other cops. As we know, Captain Baptiste took him out. He took himself out. You know, he gone. He up out of here. But he wasn't, Garcia was dirty with Jukebox, but he wasn't as dirty with Jukebox. Yeah, why would I need Garcia when, you know what I'm saying, why would I need you when I can be what you are? And that is the reason why she becomes a cop in the first place. You just put two and two together. Man, Roski, half five, bro. Half five, bro. That makes total sense. That makes complete sense why she goes, I'm going to go ahead and become a cop. Because the cop that I was working for, he was only dirty to a limit. He was being dirty to help out Jukebox for a little bit. And then once he realized that Captain Baptiste was dirty and that the whole precinct was pretty much dirty, he wanted no parts of that. So in his mind, he's like, give the money back. And then when you see a character who's like, I'm not really trying to be involved with this, it's a little too late. Because you're already involved. You're already compromised. You see what I'm saying? Roski, Roski, half five, bro. Half five. I think that's the reason she becomes a cop. Because when he thought he could be just as corrupted, it backfired on him. He said, I want no parts of it. Juke has already been corrupted by her environment. Season 1 Juke wanted no parts of the life her mama did. Not her mama did. Her father did. Her auntie did. Her other uncle did. And her cousin is doing. She wanted no part of that life. Now she's a part of the life somewhat. But she gets to have control and her power by becoming a cop. Because Garcia tried to do it and it wouldn't work out for them. And she decided, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and do it. to challenge that I can do it, not only to be a better dirty cop than you will ever be, but to wow, Roski, you're hitting the nail right on the coffin. But to accept it as a challenge for herself to become a better dirty cop, and also it gives her power, which is ironic, right? Pun intended. It gives her her power. When she was dirty, notice how there was nobody from the precinct or somebody from the cop, job that she had worked at was coming at her being like, hey, so Juke, we heard about you did this, boom, boom, boom. No trace as to what she did as a cop got back to her line of business. They weren't coming at you and being like, yo, Juke, so we heard you killed that kid, or we heard you did this, and you had Kanan and his friends, do a robbery, and you was, playing it like as if like you wasn't involved, but you really were involved. She didn't get that. She was invisible, which is, I know we're going back to Ghost, but she was invisible, getting away with what she wanted to do as a cop. It's like having that role for some people who are cops in real life. Hopefully, this is not the case for everybody. It's a role that can play with absolute deception. I said deception, by the way. Deception. You live on the surface being respectable, dutiful, highly devoted, and that's the mask you're wearing as a cop. But underneath that mask is the truth, and that truth is the lie. Crazy. Crazy. But yeah, Broski, you put two and two together so well, bro. I have to give you your props, bro. You killed that. That was fire, man. Seriously. I never even noticed that. But that makes sense. And that makes sense for why we're getting the storyline between her and Garcia. It's like, why do we keep getting her and Garcia? Garcia ain't even a major character like this. So why do we keep seeing Juke and Garcia? It's starting to make sense now. Because the moment he's gone, she's going to embrace what he had. So yeah. This is great, bro. Also, what did you think about, just out of curiosity, Roski, what did you think about Kanan taking out Crank and telling his homeboys, if you scared, we gonna get you unscared. If you shook, we gonna get you unshook. Get back to work. Right. Jude didn't really have a scene with Howard like that, though. So I want to say her and Howard, but that's your point, though. But those were definitely building pieces to shape her to become what she eventually becomes. So yeah, you got a point right there and there, though. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, Cran was like, yeah, Kanan, you look like you just got yourself messed up, and I don't know. Your someone came over or that. I think it was your uncle, and he shot up the house and everything else like that. And I just thinking that for right now we want to preserve our lives, and right now we're a little bit shook, and I think it's best that we don't continue doing this for right now. That we just lay low, and then we get back to doing work, because right now we're scared. And Kanan's like, I can't have nobody scared around me, because if you're scared, you can become a liability in the long run. You can't be scared in this business of the game. Once you join it and you shake hands with that, nah, bruh, that fear gotta go. Because the fear sets in before you go, you up out of here. Yeah, like Crank didn't. The reason Crank got dropped off wasn't simply because, well, it was for a couple of reasons. One, he should have kept his mouth shut. Two, he told Kanan how he looked and didn't read the room very, very well. That's one. And then three, he kept talking way too much. Even without saying 20 paragraphs, you're talking and you're talking and you're talking. And the more you're talking, the more fear is written over your dang on face. The more scared your body language becomes. And if Kane's able to notice that, again, you could become a liability because just because that happened, that one incident happened where Marvin shot the stash, whatever, not the stash house, but the house where Kanan be staying at from time to time for his business. It's one thing for that to happen. It's another thing if the cop was to pull up on Crank and be like, so yeah, hey, Crank, we heard you moving weight and moving work for Kanan. Crank would probably be the one to go ahead and low key snitch on Kanan and turn back on him because he don't want to be messed with the whole worker like that. He ain't part of business like that. So Kanan was like, nah, you gotta be up out of here. So Butt 20 and Howard was so Butt 20. It was the reason he was scary was because it was his first time pulling the trigger and taking out somebody's life. That's not easy to do. That's not a normal thing to do. Can you compartmentalize that in your mind over time? Sure, if you do it more than once, then yeah, go ahead. Obviously, I'm not condoning murder. I'm just saying, but that's what he ended up doing. So his first time he did it, that was his first time taking the body or catching the body. For Howard, he was scary, but he didn't. But that's also because he was not sure about taking out a cop. It's a big deal when you're taking out a cop because that's another reason. So after that happened, let me think. That's a good question too. Season 2, Kanan didn't catch no bodies. He just beat up that boy Freddy. Season 3, yeah. But it was only one person that he took out, and that was Ronnie. Then you get to season 4. Did Kanan catch any bodies in season 4? No. Season 4, we didn't get anybody. We didn't get Kanan catching no bodies. But season 5, oh yeah. I think season 5 has definitely gotten Kanan a lot more. Well, has he killed? How many people has he killed so far in this season? This sounds crazy. Why am I even talking about murder? This is wild. This is wild, bro. But anyways. But no, to answer your question, season 2, no, he pulled the trigger on anyone. Season 3, yes, it was Ronnie, which was your Unique's brother. And then 4, no. Or 5, yes. Yes. Well, season 4 didn't. Season 4 actually was actually the last season for him to come to his final transformation. I think by the end of season 4, you got the full transformation for Kane to be the cold-blooded killer that we see him in this season. Because when it came to season 4, you had to break Kanan. And how you break Kanan furthermore to becoming, more of that trigger happy, pull trigger guy, you take away his best friend. And then his girlfriend on top of that. Season 4 was by far the hardest season I think Kanan had to go through because he lost a lot. Even OC. Even though OC was snitching on him and had his work stolen, OC was still his partner as far as business. Yeah, of course. Breeze is more experienced than Kanan and more strategic than Kanan. In terms of how he goes about doing things. But you can tell Breeze is older than Kanan and has experience of probably a lot maybe worse than Kanan. We don't know for sure how true that is. And you probably will ever know about that, you know, as far as Breeze's character. But it's not. I think the reason Breeze came so late too is because we mainly know about how Ghost and Tommy and Kanan ran Rush out, you know, as far as the game. Ghost told Tariq that essentially he took out Breeze around his age. So was Ghost 14, 15, 16 when he took out Breeze? See, that's where I have to ask that question though, because that's an interesting callback. 1 second, bro. She's a 96 over Breeze. Breeze is a 92, and Kane is an 85. Oh, you're talking about, huh? Wait a minute, what? Oh, you did say, okay, I was about to say, okay, that's an overall. I was about to say, don't, we talking about years? We talking about years? But yes, 96 overall. Breeze is a 92. Kanan is an 85. That is hilarious. That's funny. Yeah, Rock definitely got them beat. But Rock's whole empire's finna come crashing down, though, because she ain't got no work. And this season's going to prove it. So, hey, Broski, I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for what you have been sending along your way, bro. Thoroughly appreciate you joining me here on this live and just chopping it up with me. And I love your theories, by the way, bro. And even in the midst of our debates, I still got love for you. You know what I'm saying? Love you, bro. And it's nothing personal, man. I love talking about this stuff, and I'm glad me and you had a lot to share about it within our theories and predictions. So, kudos to you, brother. Marvin got to be an 87, and Nick got to be a 90. Yeah. That's accurate. That's accurate, bro. Yeah, man. I know, bro. I was like, man, I hope when I go on this live, I can catch you and CJ or whomever, you know what I'm saying? So, but thank you again for showing up, bro. Really appreciate you. And yes, hit me up on Instagram. And when you do, you know, send me your number along the way, and we can go from there and chop it up, you know, live, you know, face to face from next on. So, all right, bro. You be safe, man. God bless you.